Welcome to From the PressBox. I'm Lauren Fluker.
And I'm Jamal Williams. In Atlanta University Center Athletics, Clark Atlanta's women's softball team recently finished with a 3-3 record in conference play. The Lady Panthers are currently 4th in the SIAC East Division.
CAU women's tennis team dominated the SIAC Roundup tournament in Columbia, South Carolina. The team garnered wins over conference opponents Albany State, Lane College, Lemoyne-Owen, and Benedict College. The Lady Panthers are in first place with a 7-0 conference record. And now on to the NCAA tournament. March Madness is upon us, and we're going to give you our breakdown of the tournament and our picks for the Final Four and our overall champion, and also two teams that we think is going to stir up trouble along the way.
What can I say? Everyone knows my track record, and I'm the one to beat. I just know how to pick them.
And I should really take lessons.
Yeah.
On a serious note, tragic news in the realm of action sports as Canadian ski cross racer Nick Zorachik died in the Switzerland race. Ski authorities have labeled the World Cup incident as a freak accident. Zorachik crashed into the perimeter nets of his final jump.
The accident marks the second tragedy action sports has endured in 2 months. Following the death of Canadian freestyle skier Sarah Burke, both Canadian skiers were aged 29 at the time of their death.
The Minnesota Timberwolves are facing a major setback. Last week, team officials announced that rookie point guard sensation Ricky Rubio is out indefinitely due to a torn ACL in his left knee.
Since being inserted as Minnesota's starting point guard, Rubio has averaged 11 points, 8 assists, and 2 steals per game. T-Wolves forward Kevin Love stated, "It's a big emotional shock."
You know, last show you mentioned just how explosive his All-Star game performance was, and now he has this injury, and that's got to be devastating for someone who's ranked among the best passing rookies in the past decade.
He's not just one of the best passing rookies, he's one of the best passers and players in the game. This guy has 12 games with at least 10 points and 10 assists. He's only trailing 2 guys, Steve Nash, who has 18, and Darren Williams, who has 14. That's pretty elite company for a guy who's a rookie.
It is. News of 14-year veteran Peyton Manning being released from the Indianapolis Colts is permeating headlines.
Despite Manning's relationship with Colts owner Jim Irsay, the Colts decided to cut him after his 4th surgery to a damaged nerve that caused weakness in his throwing arm.
In his 208-game stint with the Colts, he threw for more than 54,000 yards, 400 touchdowns, and brought Indianapolis their first championship in Super Bowl 41.
It's really just never the right time to say goodbye.
I know, and I'm so sure those are words he's getting familiar with now.
I'm not talking about Peyton Manning. I'm talking to our viewers because we're going to have to go to a break here, but we're going to switch things up when we come back and go into our hurry-up offense.
There's a monster in my bathtub. There's one on the couch. There's a monster on my bed.
Keep innocent things from triggering an asthma attack.
Please make the monsters go away.
Learn how to stop their asthma attacks at noattacks.org.
Welcome back to From the Press Box. We're about to get into our hurry-up offense now, so let's just jump on into it. Early in the show, we talked about Peyton Manning's release from the Indianapolis Colts, and it's a really hot topic, and even more so is his future. What team should Manning go to, and why?
Okay, so the league year just started, and Peyton has spoken with a few teams, but 3 teams particularly of interest are Miami, Arizona, and Tennessee. And people thought he could go to Denver, but with the Tebow frenzy, I don't think they're having it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. I could see him in Arizona, however. They haven't really been up to par in the NFC West since Papa Kurt departed. You know, there is a void there, and Larry Fitz and company need that help. So I could very well see Manning in Arizona.
So you don't think Denver's offense is broken?
I mean, it's not what I think. Denver obviously loves the guy.
They have a quarterback who can't throw. It's extremely broken. Okay, my team is a dark horse. I'm going with Baltimore, the former Colts, where Peyton Manning's idol Johnny Unitas played. What better thing could he do than go to play in the same, area where his idol played? They already have a defense that includes Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs. They have everything, the veteran core that they need for him to win now in the next couple of years that's going to end out his career.
Exactly. Tiger Woods finished with the final round of 62 in the Honda Classic, his best final round ever. With that type of play, is Tiger back?
He lost. I want to say it one more time. He lost. He didn't win. Tiger isn't back. If he's trying to get healthy and be 100%, for the Masters, which is a month away now, then he's right on pace for that. But anything else, no, he lost the match. The most he did was by hitting his birdie on the 18th, he helped to raise McIlroy's play because he had to finish strong and close out so Tiger wouldn't win.
Okay, you know, Tiger's a 14-time major champ with 71 PGA Tour victories and a host of other accolades. But, you know, golf is a mental game. And during Tiger's crescendo between the years of 1997 and 2008, roughly 11 years, he was able to, you know, get that mental toughness to work in his favor. He was able to overcome deficits and be #1. You know, but his personal issues that he, you know, encountered, you know, kind of, I think, threw his game off. So I don't think Tiger will ever be the old Tiger, you know, we know and love.
Right. I think it's more to do with, you know, the injuries, the surgeries he's
Yeah,
had. He just hasn't been able to
four
stay
knee
healthy.
surgeries, yeah.
In the midst of all the bounty talk, the New Orleans Saints are meeting with NFL officials. Are the Saints really in trouble?
You know, I think the investigation of the alleged bounties by the New Orleans Saints is kind of pointless, you know, because guys are groomed from a very young age to separate man from ball. However, I'm unsure of the boundaries that were crossed. So, you know, if it is found that they were intentionally hurting guys and were given bonuses for doing so, then action needs to be taken. I just don't know to what extent.
As a Saints fan, this hits home for me. The Saints are going to be made an example of by Roger Goodell because this is his thing. He does that. But it's not worse. They're making it out to be worse than like Spygate. The Patriots took film of the other team to cheat at the game. The Saints merely showed up and said, if you hit him hard enough, I'm going to give you a little something else. The way they're being reported on, they should have just showed up with a gun and shot the other team's star player and said, play without him now.
Yeah.
Because Greg Williams brought this here. If anyone should be crucified it should be him.
Yeah, and the last question. This year marks the 50th anniversary of Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point performance, which many feel is the greatest individual performance in history. Have sports fans forgotten about Chamberlain?
Has sports fans forgotten? Maybe the casual fan. The hardcore fan? Never. Wilt retired in 1973. The NBA record book that year listed his name 128 times. How many players can say that? At the end of last year, he still held 98 of those records. So the hardcore fan, any player that's in the league, knows Wilt Chamberlain's name. They haven't forgotten about him. You can't when you still hold 98 records that are 39 years old.
Yeah, you know, the explosiveness and speed as well as the size of the players is always changing. And even from the beginning of the Kobe Bryant era until now, we've seen that change. So despite the 2 huge records Chamberlain had for the most women and, of course, the most points scored in a single game, I don't think it's a matter of him being forgotten as it is a matter of the game's evolution. You know, as dominant as Wilt was, this record was prior to the advent of the shot clock, and in that very game, he was sent to the line upwards of 30 times. You know, so that was the bulk of his points. So who's to say he would even be able to contend with today's elite centers?
So you're telling me an elite center like Dwight Howard?
Yeah, like Dwight Howard, or even past legends such as your Patrick Ewing, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Hakeem Olajuwon, or even Shaq Diesel.
I'll give you 2 examples right now on that list. Shaq and Dwight Howard can't hit a free throw to save their life. So those 39 free throw attempts that Wilt hit most of wouldn't have helped them get 39 points.
Yeah.
So
but it's more so the speed
definitely
of
would
the
have
game.
survived.
If
He
you
has
say
the
so.
size and the athleticism to pull it off. But we're going to go to a break here, and when we come back, we're going to go into our NCAA bracket segment.
What if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today. Learn how at ready.gov.
Welcome back to From the Press Box and into our March Madness tournament breakdown.
We're going to be bracketologists in this segment as we're going to give you our final 4 picks as well as our 2 sleeper picks. Let's start off with your first sleeper.
Okay, my first sleeper is Baylor University. Quincy Acey and Perry Jones are huge contenders. They have the ability to dominate the hole, which can make it hard for those quick guards to get in. Baylor's loss to Mizzou for the Big 12 championship is their motivation, so beware of the Bears. And also, congratulations to the Lady Bears and head coach Kim Mulkey on the 2012 Big 12 championship.
Okay, my first sleeper pick is going to be Florida State. They're going to be one of the hungriest teams in this tournament, and they're ready to compete on both sides of the floor. They're extremely tenacious on the defensive side, and they play well against the top dogs in every conference. This team has upset written all over it. If their starting shooting guard and former All-American Michael Snare can get hot, as well as bench shooting guard Ian Miller, this is going to be one tough team to out.
And another tough team to out is Murray State. They were undefeated earlier this season, but Tennessee State snapped that 23-0 winning streak. And although this loss occurred toward the latter part of the season, they were still able to recover and go back and win that OVC tournament championship. This team is fast. They have a wonderful point guard, Isaiah Cannon, and they have the ability to put a lot of points on the board.
Okay, another team that can put up points in bunches is the North Carolina State Wolfpack. When you got a team that can shoot three-pointers like this, they're going to always do a lot of damage. There aren't many shooters in the country that can do it as well as Scott Wood. He's hitting 41% from behind three this year, and he can go on a run all by himself. This team, while everyone else is looking at ACC teams like Duke, this one can sneak up on a lot of people.
Okay, so give me your Final Four.
I'm going to start off my Final Four from the South. We're going with Baylor. Look at power forward Perry Jones III. This guy has all the athletic ability in the world, and he has everything it takes to carry his team. If he can turn his motor on, NBA scouts are going to be watching him. So if he can have a strong tournament and carry his team through New Orleans to a championship, he's going to make himself a lot of money. My second team is going to be Memphis. The Tigers are seeded 8th, but this team's playing great right now. They've won 11 of their past 12 games, and during the Conference USA tournament, no team stayed closer than 12 points. They have a big-time scorer with Will Barton, and they shoot almost 50% from the field as a team.
Ooh,
that's
impressive.
Scorching hot.
Yeah.
They're peaking at the right time, and they're going to make a push for New Orleans. From the East, I'm going with Vanderbilt. Vandy has an NBA-caliber talent on their team with John Jenkins and Jeffrey Tyler. They're battle-tested. They have 4 seniors and 1 junior in their starting lineup. Not many teams can boast a lineup like that. That's what it takes to make some serious noise. It's the experience that they can bring to it. And let's not forget they can shoot the 3-ball as well as any team in the country, which gives the Commodores a chance to win anytime, anywhere, against anyone, assuming they're knocking down from behind 3. All right, my last team in my Final Four is going to be Kansas. The Jayhawks, when they're clicking, they're the team that nobody can beat. They have one of the most dominant individuals in the country this season. If the Jayhawks are going to make a run through New Orleans and the big dance, they're going to need Robinson to carry them. He's their star. He's their leader. In my championship, I'm going to have to go with the Baylor Bears and the Vanderbilt Commodores. Vandy has John Jenkins. He's a 6'4 junior from Hendersonville. He led the Commodores in scoring with 20 per game, and he's shooting a scorching hot 45.3% from behind 3. Vandy's coach Kevin Stallings is going to have to lean on Jenkins if they want to beat Baylor. But it's not quite going to be enough as Baylor has a little bit too much talent. I'm looking at freshman small forward Quincy Miller. He has the ability to drive the lane and hit from behind 3. He has the talent, and he's going to push Baylor over the top as Baylor wins the men's and women's championship this year.
And that's never been done. All right, so my Final Four, I've got to agree with you and go with Kansas. Their power forward, Thomas Robinson, I've seen this change. He's matured on the court, and he has this muscle now, and he knows how to dominate in the paint. My second team, Kentucky, they're the number 1 seed in the SEC, and I'm sure you know why. Anthony the Brown Davis, Marcus Teague, Terrence Jones, and Mike Kidd-Gilchrist. So there's no wonder with the team full of role players why they're now averaging 77 points per game and 40 rebounds per game. And it's cliche to go ahead and go with the number 1 seed, but, you know, they have what it takes now, so I think that they could go all the way. Michigan State is next. They're the Big Ten champions, and they have a team full of role players as well, which includes Draymond Green, Keith Appling, and Brandon Wood. Coach Tom Izzo was also named National Coach of the Year, and for good reason. His system works. And my last team is Wisconsin. They're in the competitive Big Ten Conference, or what most people believe to be the most competitive. And they still drop these bombs from 3-point range, which makes them a huge contender. So, I think the keys to their success are going to be to force those turnovers and stay out of foul trouble. And if they can maintain this composure the whole way, they could go all the way. So of these 4 teams, my 2 that will advance to the championship are Wisconsin and Kentucky. Now, keep in mind, Kentucky has only lost 2 games on the road, one against Indiana by 1 point, and then another against Cats
My Vanderbilt.
for the SEC championship. So with guys like Marquise Teague, Anthony Davis, and Terrence Jones, who's going to stop them?
You're right. They have an extremely talented team. Their whole starting lineup is projected to go in the first round of this year's draft if they decide to declare. Right. Another talented team is us here at From the PressBox, and we've reached the end of another show.
Join us next week and follow us on Twitter at FTP_tweets.
I'm Jamal Williams.
And I'm Lauren Fluker.
And this is From the PressBox.